Welcome to Thrive in 25 Week 3. We're doing it, and hopefully, you're seeing some results, feeling good, and thinking better. I love helping people see sort of the arithmetic of their thinking. What are the thoughts and beliefs that are we put together in order to end up making the decisions we make and having the type of interactions we have or the quality of the interactions we have. Well, we know that stress is a killer, and we know it does horrible things to our minds and our bodies. And I came across this quote by Brene Brown a few years ago, and it says, "We are the most in debt, obese, and medicated cohort in U.S. history." So, life is difficult. There's stress and anxiety, and there's things that we do which are generally not good for us that we use to remedy or to try to numb. I think numb's a better word. Numb the discomfort. So I was taught this model about 10 years ago, and it continues to challenge me and it continues to liberate me. This is what I call the circle of responsibility. And so I'm just going to draw it up here real fast. I'm going to draw a very fancy big circle. And in the circle, I want you to write these words, or remember these words. Bob Goff says, if you want to live a noteworthy life, make a lot of notes. I go through life and I make a lot of notes. I always have a life notebook with me. So when I hear a quote or I hear something that's like, ooh, I need to remember that, I write it down. So if you want to write it down, the 4 words you're going to put in your circle of responsibility are these 4 words. Think, feel, say, and do. You are only responsible for 4 things in life. And I believe those 4 things are not easy, but they're manageable. What I think, what I feel, what I say, and what I do. And then generally, it's going to flow in that order. First, I'm going to think it. We think before we feel. So it's our thoughts that drive our emotions. So when I think of feel, I mean the word like emotion. Like if someone comes by and slaps me in the face, that's going to hurt. I can't, I'm not responsible for that hurting. When I think about feel, it's what are the emotions that we have? Unlike animals, we can choose to be bitter, or we can choose to show grace. We can choose to be resentful, or we can choose forgiveness. We can choose to be angry, or we can choose gratefulness. So the feelings that we have are in our circle of responsibility. We are responsible for what we feel. And we're responsible for what we think. Based on what we think and then we feel, then we generally say and do as an outpouring of what we think and feel. So our thinking is really important. And we talked week 1 about the power of our beliefs and how we will always live out our beliefs. And this is a bit of an illustration. Maybe beliefs would be up here. Our beliefs influence our thinking, which influence what we feel and what we say and what we do. So it's incredibly important. So, boy, Tom, you make life sound really easy. All I'm responsible for is what I think, feel, say, and do. And I go, yes. It's not easy, but it's manageable. And people will say, well, what about all the other stuff that keeps me up at night? And I was like, okay, tell me, what other stuff's keeping you up at night? And then I'll hear words like COVID or inflation or politics or the economy or war or wars, and on it goes. Politics matter. And though, I don't recommend watching Fox News or CNN for more than 25 minutes a day. I made up to 25 minutes. But, when you walk to a house and Fox News is always on, I'm guessing there's some fear and some anxiety that's going to come out of that. Because what's the media's job? Their job is to make you discontent and to make you afraid so that you stay engaged. They want your attention. The more eyes you give to the screen, the more money they get. And so whether it's your phone or your social media or your Fox News or your CNN News, you know what? They're trying to get you to watch. They're trying to scare you. So these things are outside of our circle of responsibility. Or I should say, by and large, are out of our circle of responsibility. So someone would say, well, Tom, I can vote. I'm like, yes, you can. So you can influence politics by voting. So I would say, yes, voting is in there. But can you control the way senators talk to one another? Can you control the ugliness that happens and people buying each other off and all that? It's out of our circle of responsibility. Now, I have encouraged people, hey, if that's still really bothering you, what else can you do? Well, I can write a letter. Okay, write a letter. Send an email. I'm not saying do nothing, but what I'm saying is don't give it your attention for more than what's outside or more than what you can put into your circle of responsibility. All right, I'm getting a little ahead of myself. Now, this side of the circle is always a little more difficult. So on this side of the circle, I would put things like what people say about me, my reputation, the decisions my kids make, other people's decisions, the decisions my boss makes, what other people do. And so on this other side, I tend to write out the things that influence the way I dress or influence the way I talk or influence the way I carry myself. Last week we talked about the projected self. A lot of times we try to control other people and what people say based on our projected self. It's just not authentic. So on this side of the circle, we have sort of like what other people do, what other people say, what other people think about us. And on this side of the circle, we have sort of the more bigger topics, inflation, politics, things like that. So let's say each day I'm going to use like a Star Wars connection here. Let's say every day you have 100 units of life. So each day you have 100 units of life. Now, how will your life look if you spend 40% of your energy focusing on what other people think, feel, say, and do, and then 40% over here on these other world events that you can't control, and then you give 20% into here? How's your life going to look? Well, I know I can be idealistic and a little different, but when I die, I want to have some sort of legacy. I want to have made a difference. I want to have impacted people. It doesn't have to be big. It doesn't have to be on this national scale, but I want my life to have mattered. Now, how much will my life matter, or what kind of impact will I make if I spend 80% of my life force outside the circle? Well, I think it's going to be pretty small. So what I am encouraging people to do is to put all their energy into their circle of responsibility. What am I thinking about today? What am I feeling today? What are the words I'm saying? And why am I saying the words I'm saying? And why am I doing the things I'm doing? If you want to make a big impact, if you want to shape the world, I believe we do this by making that percentage of life force 100% into this circle. And we start releasing the things that are outside the circle. And so I tend to think about it like a backpack. I have this backpack on and it fits, let's say these are like 5-pound bricks, and it fits these 5-pound bricks really well. I have 4 or 5-pound bricks in my backpack. Okay, there's some weight to it, but it's manageable. I can carry it. And I can make it through the whole day. Now, at the end of the day, I'm like, yeah, there was some weight to it, but I can carry this, what I think, feel, say, and do. But what I find most people do is they walk around, I got my backpack on. And then, oh, why are the groceries so expensive? And we take that stressor and we put it in our backpack. And why is this person looking at me that way? And we put it in our backpack. Why did this person post this on social media? And we put it in our backpack. And by the end of the day, we're all hunched over, and it's like, why am I so flippin' exhausted all the time? Why do I feel so depleted? And I believe it's because we went through our day and we didn't manage our backpack. We put 120 pounds of stuff in the backpack instead of what was made for the 4 things. We have a burden that's easy and light. It's a 20-pound burden, and that's what we should be carrying each day. Now, how does this make your life better? I believe it does. I can actually hear myself in the car sometimes, and I'll say, not in your circle, Tom, not in your circle. And what am I saying to myself? I'm putting my energy outside of the circle. And if it's outside my circle, it doesn't belong. It will rob me of the life I really want to live. It'll rob me of my purpose. It'll rob me of the impact I want to make. It's really important. And I'm going to wrap up here with my definition of anxiety. Anxiety equals misplaced attention. I've talked to lots of people in my life, and I've never met one who was like, you know what's really stressing me out, Tom? What's really stressing me out is what I think, feel, say, and do. It's always stuff outside the circle of responsibility. The things outside the circle will clamor and they will say, pay attention to me. But freedom is found in saying, it's not in my circle. That's not for me to worry about it. I don't want to give it my attention. So a life of freedom, a life of connection, a life of joy has to be rooted in paying attention to what we're putting in our backpack each day. And in that, we will find freedom. Now, I don't want to oversimplify something that's complex, and I know there are medications for anxiety and stuff like that. I'm not saying don't pay attention to that. What I'm saying is pay attention to what you're focusing on. And again, I've never met anyone who struggles with anxiety who struggles with what's in their circle of responsibility. It's always paying our attention, and really we are paying a heavy price to give our attention to other things. There we go. That's week 3. Your challenge for this week is to be really mindful and reflective of what are you putting in your backpack. What are the types of things that are causing you to feel depleted and weighed down? What are the types of worries that you want to numb away? My hunch is they have nothing to do with what's in your circle of responsibility. So freedom is found as we learn to manage our circle of responsibility. One of the things I do at night is I think about, what did I put in my backpack today that doesn't belong? And I believe it can be a very healthy and relaxing thing for me, is to almost visualize what am I taking out of my backpack? What doesn't belong? Then I can live free and light. There you go. Week 3, circle of responsibility. I hope this challenge is going great. We'll see you in week 4. Bye.